Do we start now?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes. A very good evening to all the participants joining this 33rd Foundation Day Roundtable of NISTI on a topic which is dear to you all, which is the textile industry's revival with growth and looking ahead. At the outset, I may extend a very cordial welcome to all those who have joined for this virtual roundtable from India and other parts of the world. Let me also extend my greetings and felicitations to all the founders, past chairmen, honorary secretaries, EC members, as well as office bearers of the Western, Eastern, and Southern chapters of the Textile Institute as well, and the Textile Institute Manchester, and the leadership of TI on the occasion of the 33rd Foundation Day of NISTI. A special welcome to Katie Greenier, World President TI Manchester, who is expected to join shortly. A warm welcome to the DG and CEO of TI, Ms. Stephanie Dick, who has been a source of constant support to NISTI over the years, and to Robin, who is doing all the background check to get this going. We have just received an inspirational and commemorative letter from Richard Denyer, former TI General Secretary and Chief Executive from 1976 to 1996, who has reminisced that Sri Dorabji Tata, Sir Dorabji Tata had joined the Textile Institute Manchester in the foundation year 1910 to illustrate the long synergistic relationship between the two organizations and the two countries. It is a great honor to welcome the two keynote speakers who are doyens of the textile industry. Mr. T. Rajkumarji, Chairman of the Confederation of Textile Industry, and Mr. Shishir Jaipuria, CMD of Guinea Filaments Limited, whose insightful words today will provide greater momentum to our efforts. We are honored to welcome Professor V.K. Kothari, a founding member of NISTI, who has probably been the longest serving member of NISTI, who along with Professor Swani and Professor Nigam, who was the first chairman of NISTI, had not just only formed NISTI on 24th May, or the same day in 1989, but had kick-started a mission to upgrade knowledge levels of the industry and to hold both the industry and academia together. My hearty welcome also to Dr. Vinod Shanbag, the immediate past chairman, who worked tirelessly to not only lead the organization for the past 4 years, but also put in continuous efforts to make the Foundation Day event happen. I may share with this august group of attendees that I have been just accorded this privilege and honor to be the 9th chairman of NISTI, which I have accepted with great humility and commitment, and look forward to working with all of you. The world and India, especially, are in the midst of a raging, lethal second wave of COVID pandemic, unprecedented in its reach and destruction. Our hearts should go out at this moment to pray for the lives and livelihoods shut out, and for peace to all those who have lost their near and dear ones and undergone suffering in many ways. I would urge and pray that let's all come together in expressing solidarity and observe a minute of silence in memory of the departed soul. Thank you, and may God bless every one of us. When going gets tough, the tough gets going. And the Indian textile industry has proven that time and again. If there is one thing which stands out and differentiates this age-old industry, it is the value it attaches to relationships. NISTI is a great exemplar of this ethos of respecting, fostering, and nurturing the warmth and weft of relationships. On this 33rd Foundation Day, it is appropriate to recall and acknowledge the pioneering contributions made by former chairman Professor V.K. Kothari, Professor K.C. Tapadar, Mr. Vijay Bhalla, Dr. Sailen Chowdhury, Dr. Kuldeep Sharma, while also paying tributes to late Alok Goyal and Sri A.K.G. Nair. They all, along with honorary secretaries and EC members over the last 3 decades, have left an indelible mark in the journey of NISTI in diverse ways and diverse areas. Now, coming to some few ideas which we must discuss today and going forward. India has about 350 million youth in the age group of 15 to 24, and the median age is just about 29. Our demographic advantage, according to the UN population studies, is likely to last another 2-3 decades till 2050, though the pyramid will start changing its shape by 2035. Employable skills and meaningful employment are major challenges, in both, textile industry has a key role to play. In the Global Innovation Index, India is at the 50th position among 200 countries, as reported by Bloomberg in February 2021, moving up 4 places over the last year, which shows the potential to climb further, wherein textile industry, I believe, can play a very significant role. We have an overall workforce of about 450 million, out of which just less than 50 million are women. And the labor force participation rate in the case of women has been falling drastically. Without women joining the productive workforce, no country's economy can progress. Textile industry, especially downstream, is the biggest hope for providing more rural employment to youth and women. The Honorable Prime Minister's call to be vocal about local is a pertinent reminder at this juncture. If this fragmented industry can move towards integration as a consumer-friendly and possibly a fashion and technology-driven ecosystem, there will be a multiplier impact on economy, generating millions of jobs. It is quite disappointing, however, that the crucial importance of this industry is perceived by many as a sunset industry. But in NISTI's vision, certainly, it is to make it a sunshine industry, spreading light and hope for millions of people. By working for integration and innovation through the farm, fiber, fabric, fashion, value chain, not just by adding value, but by creating value. There are new opportunities emerging with production-linked incentive scheme, which is expected to enlarge manufacturing capacities and capabilities by increasing production in the textiles apparel industry, especially in the MMF segment and technical textiles. This opens up a big opportunity for the textile industry for diversification and value addition. In fact, some of the NISTI senior members are already engaged a great deal in this area. Upgradation of human resources for the textile apparel industry is a fulcrum for NISTI's engagement with its stakeholders and members. From a broader perspective, especially in the context of Industrial Revolution 4.0, reskilling, upskilling, and new skilling of professionals and workforce in the industry through a comprehensive run strategy has become imperative, and NISTI can play a catalyst role to accelerate this transformation. The much valued courses offered by the Textile Institute UK have to be popularized among existing managerial supervisory cadres and the Gen Next in the energizing lifelong learning scenario. The policies of central and state governments have a cascading impact on the industry. Our collective wisdom and intellectual contributions can bring positive changes with suitable interventionist strategies. At this juncture, when the industry is at crossroads with a long-stretched pandemic, the challenges before us are enormous, and so are the opportunities. However, a design attitude, I've spent a lot of time in design, that means perceiving challenges and constraints to reimagine the problems as well as the solutions, will help us to come out of this bend in the road successfully. A word of special welcome and thanks to all the industry and institutional leaders. I see it's almost 100 people have already joined in this roundtable, have been partners in progress with NISTI over the 3 decades as we look ahead with optimism and determination to shape this new decade, which had a disastrous start, but I am positive would turn out to be a defining period of resilience, resurgent growth, and anti-fragility, as Nicholas Taleb would have called. A quote attributed to Abraham Lincoln says aptly, "The best way to predict your future is to create it." My warmest welcome greetings go out to all of you present in this August gathering, and best wishes for fruitful deliberations to develop a shared vision and action plans. Stay safe, stay healthy, and spread sunshine all around. Thank you. Now, may I start the proceedings of the roundtable after this welcome greetings, addressed by me as the new chairman of NISTI. I would start with Ms. Stephanie Dick, the Director General and CEO of the Textile Institute, Manchester, over the past 6 years. She has immensely contributed towards the progress of Textile Institute over the last 2 decades. Her ever enthusiastic support to NISTI is a much valued asset by all of us at NISTI. We now present Stephanie Dick, the enthusiastic and highly dynamic DG and CEO of the Textile Institute, Manchester.
Thank you, Dr. Koshy, you're too kind. So I'd like to welcome you all today to this virtual roundtable event organised by NISTI, the textile industry's revival and growth, looking ahead. Thank you to each and every one of you for being here with us today. Also, thank you to the chairman of NISTI, Dr. Koshy, for inviting me to give some opening remarks. And as he's just mentioned, today it's the 33rd anniversary of the inauguration of the North India section of the Textile Institute, and why we're here today is to celebrate this auspicious day. As he's also mentioned, NISTI was established in 1989 under the leadership of 2 of the finest textile institutional leaders at the time, the late Dr. Swani, then director of IIT Delhi, and Dr. Nigal, the then director of the Shriram Institute of the Industrial Research in Delhi, with the able support of obviously Professor Dr. Kathari, who we're delighted is with us today. There are many founding fathers to remember who we do not have time to address, but who are always in our thoughts on this special day. NISTI was formally inaugurated on the 24th of May, and it was a well-attended ceremony on that day, which was actually held at IIT Delhi. And Mr. Goodall, the TI World President at the time, was also part of the day's celebration, which is why it's special for us today to have Katie Green, our World President from Pentland Brands, with us. NISTI has always enjoyed the largest membership of the Textile Institute within the country. Its organic growth was fueled by regular professional activities engaging both members and industry, especially its international conferences, which I've been lucky enough to attend. Over 20 years ago now, I was introduced to NISTI, the North India section of the Textile Institute, and I've since that day been taking their advice and guidance on all matters in regards to the industry in India and its place in the global market. There's a wealth of knowledge and strength within NISTI, which I've always admired, and it has key players from industry, academia, government officers, and those from training and the skills arena that are part of its executive committee. NISTI was built on expertise, networking, sharing of knowledge and collaboration for the betterment of our global industry, and that remains today. Our mission of the Textile Institute is to promote professionalism in all areas associated with the textile industries worldwide, and it's an association of people throughout the world which unites those with an interest in textiles. For more than 110 years, the Institute has been bringing together professionals from all over the world for the exchange of ideas, but it's a social community promoting friendship as well amongst its members. Now, for more than ever, as we all face this global pandemic, the ethos of the Institute is ever important as a global organisation, and we will do what we can to fulfil the mission of the Royal Charter alongside its charitable objectives with the sections. Events and training courses under the banner of education is of great importance to the TI. NISTI will continue to provide events to keep members and industry up to date with the latest information both locally and globally, and the TI is committed to disseminating this information for all. As an organisation, we're here to cater for all, regardless of educational background. We are offering an inclusive education model built on experience, skills and training, not just academic achievement. Members of the NISTI Executive Committee can guide members and non-members at all levels who are part of our global industry. And there are many services at the Institute, and through its sections like NISTI can offer members and industry. Please visit our new website where members and the general public have access to much information, and this will continue to grow. The Textile Institute's portfolio of publications includes books, journals, magazines, and monographs of worldwide interest. TI members can apply for professional qualifications, which recognise both their academic as well as industrial experience. Institutions can apply for accreditation or approval of their courses to integrate a programme of quality and provide a fast-track route to TI professional qualifications for their students and graduates. The Institute is committed to assisting members with their professional development by sending regular updates on opportunities such as job vacancies and competitions. We are also proud to host and support inspiring national and international events throughout the year, giving excellent network opportunities for our members. Also, a number of medals and awards are conferred upon individuals and organisations in recognition of their outstanding contribution to the textile industries and or the work of the Textile Institute under the authority of the TI's International Governing Council. Nominations are now open, so please do visit the website for those details. So the title today of the event is very apt. NISTI itself is looking ahead. It's planning a revival and growth for the section over the next 18 months. The Textile Institute headquarters is committed to working with NISTI to increase its reach. Please join us and NISTI in this new and exciting phase. Today, we are honoured to have two distinguished gentlemen, Mr. Raj Kumar, Chairman of Citi, discussing the textile value chain, Industrial Revolution 4.0, and also Mr. Jaipuria, CMD of Ginny Filaments Limited, focusing on innovation, upskilling and growth. Two wonderful presenters and key figures from our industry who I'm sure we all collectively admire. Thank you, gentlemen, for being with us today and for giving your time so graciously. As I pass you back to Dr. Koshi, I'd like to congratulate him, of course, on his new honorary position of Chairman of NISTI, and as well, Dr. Yadav, the Honorary Secretary. We are honoured and grateful that both gentlemen have taken on these posts, and I feel extremely positive about the future of NISTI. Just as a last comment, I'd also like to give a moment of thanks to my dear colleague, mentor and friend for over the past 20 years, Professor Shambag, who has steered the NISTI ship a number of times now and steps down, leaving the section in very safe hands. Thank you all.
Thank you, Stephanie, for a wonderful mood elevating, opening remarks, which is very, very
Thank you. My pleasure.
I think we will go into, a most important keynote address, much awaited by the people who are joining. We have a large number of participants who have already joined in. We welcome again all of them from various parts of India, from various parts of the world. Your participation is highly valued. We welcome each one of you to be part of this dialogue. It is not, unfortunately, it may not be possible to ask immediately the questions, but you can send the questions and we will ensure that, some of the questions are addressed in due course of time, at least while we form the various initiatives. So we go to the keynote address by Sri T. Rajkumarji, who is the, joy of the industry, a stalwart. And his experience, his leadership positions in several, very, very important roles which he has held is a speaking example of what that role, what his leadership means. He holds a master's in business administration from the PSG College and he's the chairman of Mahashakti Mills Limited. And I was very fortunate to have a dialogue with him or conversation with him when he told me, and I had known that there is a mill in my home state in Kerala, which is of Mahashakti Mills, and that too near Palghat, if I'm correct. So it is a mill which is well known from 1996 onwards. So, he is an entrepreneur, he is a businessman, and is the current chairman of Confederation of Indian Textile Industry and the Textile Sector Skill Council. He is on the board of National Skill Development Corporation, which is the overarching body for the entire skill development in the country, and has held several leadership positions of different organizations, including Citra, Texprosil, and others. So I now very happily present Sri Raj Kumarji for delivering the keynote address.
Thank you, Dr. Koshi. At the outset, let me congratulate you and your team of office bearers for assuming office of NISTI. Congratulations at the outset. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Ms. Katie Grenier, World President, Textile Institute, Manchester. Stephanie Dick, Director General and CEO of Textile Institute. Thank you for the opening remark. And Dr. Darli Koshi for the welcome address. Good evening and good afternoon to fellow delegates at UK. I sincerely hope for the well-being of you and your families. Mine is on the, as mentioned, it's going to be on the textile value chain and industrial evolution 4. So it's going to be a lengthy one. I will try to make it as interesting as possible. Friends, it's a privilege to deliver this keynote address at the 33rd Foundation Day of the North Indian section of Textile Institute, NISTI. The theme of the webinar, Textile Industry Revival with Growth and Looking Ahead, is very much apt in the current scenarios, seen with uncertainty, but at the same time, new opportunities for growth. I join all in expressing the delight that the event is being held while India will soon witness 75 years of her independence. It is noteworthy to mention here that today, the Indian textile and clothing industry represents the complete textile value chain and consumes almost all type of fibers. In the 75 years, Indian textile industry grew from a modest of around 400 mills, employing about 500,000 workers during independence, to currently about 3,544 mills, employing close to 43 million workforce. Today, India accounts for 24% of the world's spindles, 18% of the rotas, 63% of the looms, and 37% world area under cotton cultivation. For the first time in her post-independence that India saw a pandemic of this magnitude due to novel coronavirus, which has witnessed shutdown of manufacturing units, disruption in logistics, and severe straining of the textile supply value chain. Noteworthy to mention here that still the textile and clothing value chain holds a lot of promise for being the world's second largest producer, fifth largest exporter, and of course, second largest source of employment in India, and providing employment to about 120 million workforce, accounting to 21% of the employment. Having said that, and despite all the adversities in the past 1 year, India has shown great resilience since the onset of COVID-19 pandemic in March 2020. This is evident by the fact that in a notably short span, it became the second largest producer of PPE kits in the world. Entrepreneurs flourished in all parts of India, and startups on technical and medical textiles acted swiftly in delivering the much needed technology innovations. While the global economics were in the lockdown and the moment were restricted, a $1 billion industry came into existence. India, which absolutely had no company for manufacturing PPE suits till now, is now having around 1,100 companies thriving in this segment. These segments are becoming the foundation to steer the textile and clothing industry, which has started reinventing the supply chain. The textile industry started looking from a different perspective to innovate, embrace appropriate technology, and resorting to new ways of working. With a strong, supportive, and visionary government at center, under the leadership of the Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi, India is all set to do wonders in the coming years and will surely achieve the target textile and apparel market size of $350 billion US dollars. Recently announced initiative like the Product Linked Incentive PLI scheme, the Samrat scheme, the proposed textile parks under the Mitra scheme, capital subsidy under the TUFS Textile Upgradation Fund scheme, and the National Technical Technology Mission will enable the textile industry to become globally competitive, attract large investment, boost employment generations and exports. Out of the various advantages and strength lying before us, I would like to stress only on few areas in the textile value chain. The technical textile has been in focus since the time Government of India promoted the Center of Excellence at various textile research institutes across India, including the Southern India Textile Research Association. The Indian technical textile industry, valued at 18 billion US dollars and growing at a 13% CAGR, has received a boost in the demand post-COVID-19, especially the non-woven textile major, driven by healthcare and infrastructure sector. Friends, I will be proud to say that our fellow speaker and former chairman of Citi, Mr. Shishir Jaipuria, was one among the few people who ventured into the technical textiles and came out very successful in it.
We just lost his connection, but but Mr. Rajkumar is actually just coming back in now. I can see him reconnecting, so I think it'll just be another minute.
Sorry, I joined again. Sorry. Thank you so much. Government of India has been prompt in recognizing this thrust area and introduced several incentives and support measures to boost the demand and attract investments in the sunrise sector. The National Technical Textile Mission, set up by Government of India, allocated 1,480 crores, that is US dollars 211.76 million for the next 4 years till 2024, while the PLI scheme on technical textiles and man-made fiber segments launched with an outlay of around US dollars 1,528.53 million. Both of these, along with 207 harmonized system called HSN.
Yeah. You're on mute.
I'm sorry. There's been some disruption on the signal. Sorry. To continue again, while helping in promoting Indian technical textile industry, which constitutes just 6% of the global market at the moment, but growing in a faster rate of 12% against the global average of 4 to 5%. There are currently 364 Indian standards on technical textiles, while more than 100 areas under development. Also, the courses developed by the Textile Sector Skill Council, TSC, nurtured by the Confederation of Indian Textile Industry, has been included in the flagship program of the Government of India, namely the Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana, PMKVY and Samrat scheme. Training in these courses shall prepare the skilled workforce for the technical textiles, mainly for the blue-collar jobs. Recently, Union Textile Minister, Honorable Srimati Smriti Irani ji, has announced introducing academic subjects as National Institute of Fashion Technology on technical textiles, involving production and design of technical textiles in industry, apparel and decoration. Additionally, there are indirect driving forces brought in systems such as making it mandatory to have the airbag mandatory for the passengers front seat of the vehicle by the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways. While these measures, India is expected to be a key growth market for the technical textile sector, expected to reach US 32 billion in FY23 due to cost effectiveness, durability, and versatility of technical textiles. Looking at its emergence as a standalone driving force, there should be dedicated export promotion council on technical textiles, which the Government of India is right now planning to set up, which can immediately address the deeper challenges of the emerging sector. Nevertheless, due to the sudden emergence of the need for non-woven in the health sector, focus got on production, while the important aspect of quality and taking care of the carbon footprint were totally ignored. there lies a dire need for a greater sensitization among manufacturers and the buyers and establish protocols for the strict control on the quality as well as the qualification. I feel it's apt for NISTI to come up with some initiative such as a formal certification course, awareness program, etc., which can be appealing to masses with minimum cost of delivery. This could also help to channelize the abundance of knowledge and expertise among the professionals and academicians in the field of technical textiles. Friends, e-tailing is yet another key area of emergence and is instrumental when it comes to the post-COVID phase. It has seen a sharp jump during the pandemic and proved to be a worthy model for a better growth in the sector. It is noteworthy that the manufacturers could reduce the overhead significantly and is seen as a new normal in retailing. While the manufacturing continued with certain COVID protocols, the logistics was in a major hurdle, adding to the fact that increasing access to internet and general inclination of factor for e-tailing. This shift is expected to drive not only the growth of the domestic apparel and textile sector to reach US $160 billion in 2025, but will also provide significant employment opportunities. This demand-driven employment will be further boosted by the rising spending limits in the middle class. Although for the large-scale companies, it is not so difficult to put strong footprinting on e-tailing, which we have seen in few of the recent mergers and acquisitions. However, for the small manufacturers, it is not easy to put up e-tailing with reasonably good visibility or trust. However, a collaborative approach of working is the need of the hour for small and medium scale manufacturing, working in clusters to set up e-tailing and healthier competitive with a large company. Notable example for this could be the clusters like Surat, India renowned for manufacturing saris, or the hosiery manufacturers in the Tirupur cluster. On the fiber has been an important value chain requiring a special focus. The man-made fiber is proving to be a silver lining for the textile industry, and its consumption has gone up looking at the usage in the products such as in non-ovens in large volumes. India has already started working on major initiatives, including setting up of the 5 integrated mega textile parks, a world-class textile testing lab, and has started a focused product scheme to position the country as a global hub in the man-made fiber segment. While the special focus on the sericulture, with the due support from the government of India, India is hoping to be a self-reliant in silk production by 2023. And the Industrial Revolution 4 in textiles is going to impact the labor market in either or combination in 4 ways. Namely, some new jobs would be created. Some of the existing jobs would demand additional skilling, while some jobs would continue to exist without any change in skill sets, and some would disappear. As per the recent study, the routine manual or routine cognitive skill jobs would disappear and shall be automated. However, the non-routine manual and the non-routine cognitive NRC skill jobs will continue to survive with or without additional new skill sets. A survey conducted by this Textile Sector Skill Council in 2018, covering 41 job roles, engaging more than 80% of the workforce in organized textile mills, have shown a shortage of 246,186 skilled manpower, of which approximately 0.2 million to close to 80% as in spinning subsector. While automation there is likely to be a loss of jobs, such as over a period of 1980 to 2017, which saw the drop of average operative hours per 100 kg of yarn from 52.1 to 18.3. During this period, 65% of these spinning jobs disappeared. Despite this, during the same period, the number of persons employed in spinning has gone up from 3.27% to 5.1% due to increase in production capacity from 1,298 to 5,667 million kg production. Among the two sectors, the textiles and garments, the latter has already started experiencing technologies such as intelligent transport system, robotic handling devices, automatic folding machine, and 3D garmenting design, leading to reduction in workforce, especially in job roles such as helper, fabric checker, fabric cutter, packer, presser, and finisher, which are relatively labor-oriented. However, at the same time, is giving rise to new skills leading to new jobs, says for AI expert, designers, etc. Hence, industry must start to gear up in identifying the new skill sets or additional skill sets to get ready for the workforce in time. A best way to cater to this is through the apprenticeship promotion scheme by the Government of India, which through recent reforms have been made employer friendly, highly incentivized and easily learning ground for persons, whereas as an individual can learn and earn simultaneously. So far, adoption of new technology by Indian garment industry has been slow due to relatively low labor cost when compared to cost of installation and maintenance of this technology, unavailability of skilled workforce to operate them, and inadequate infrastructure facilities, and shrinking profit margin due to stiff competition from neighboring countries and underdeveloped countries. So at present, the investment on some of these new technologies are not making good business sense. However, in near future, the new technologies will enter Indian garment industry. As far as the textile mills, much before the idea of Industry 4 was convinced, spinning machine manufacturers have replaced some of the job roles such as the RM and RC skills with the robotic to substitute human and replicate human actions. For example, auto doffer on ring frame, material handlers such as link owner, auto corner, auto can transport and chute feed carts and auto corners and etc. The automation to replace material handling and adoption of new technologies in fabric manufacturing has taken place much before the Industry 4 has been thought of by other manufacturing industries. In the current time, it may not be feasible for the Indian textile industry to adopt full state-of-art technology due to relatively young age of the developed infrastructure. However, to overcome the labor shortage and readily reskill and upskill adoption to unappropriate technology is more valuable option before the industry. Due to the new skill sets getting added to many of the existing jobs by the advent of Internet of Things, IoT, and with the need of improving productivity, a good opportunity lies ahead to skill youth under the various skilling initiative programs of the Government of India. New skill set shall be required to interpret real-time data captured by smart devices, such as for predictive maintenance and warning system for productive managers when efficiency dropped below the desired level. Friends, this will give rise to new job opportunities in form of specialists in areas other than textiles, such as one, specialists to monitor the organization's resources footprint, that is water, energy, chemicals, etc., for sustainability. Number two, meeting international market needs and to minimize cost of production. Number three, data specialist for optimizing business process while shifting from reactive models to predictive models. Number four, specialist in PLC maintenance due to advent of specialized electronic components in all types of textile machines. The current trend of engaging these specialists show that they will be working as freelance specialists rather than working as a full-time employees, and thus will be an advantage for the manufacturer. To have the Industry 4 to best of advantage, the academia need to be geared up to address new skill requirements and need to think, focus on thinking, complex problem solving and decision making rather than employability enhancement cell. There need to be a pace with rapidly evolving technology to reduce rate of obsolescence and enable individuals to be future ready. New customized course offering flexible timing should be floated in academic institutions to encourage students towards lifelong learning. While we think Industry 4, we must think of parallel opportunities and smooth redistribution of job, which evolved after the incidents involving a group of English textile workers violently destroyed power looms between 1811 to 1816 has shown the advent of new technology does not lead to overall unemployment, but temporary structural unemployment. The future looks bright for the Indian textile value chain, as the country has already geared up and started adopting Industry 4 in its manufacturing process. In view of the new challenges for the textile industry, it is necessary that the business leaders and the managers understand its implication and prepare a roadmap to successfully integrate the manufacturing. supply chain, marketing to achieve Industry 4 compliance. The industry will also overcome all the expected hurdles and build the global textile market in the future to come. Friends, to conclude, let me tell you, the Indian spinning industry and the Indian textile sector has witnessed one of the best times after the first COVID pandemic. And I only wish the Indian textile industry and all sectors of the Indian textile value chain to prosper in the days to come. And I thank you all for your patient hearing. And I request you all to keep safe and healthy. And once again, it's my pleasure to welcome Dr. Koshi and his team for the new NISTI team. Thank you very much for your patient hearing. Thank you for providing me this wonderful opportunity. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Rajkumar ji, for entire contours of the textile value chain being, put into a complete framework for us to understand and build on. As an organization, you have also given us some advice to look at some of the upgradation courses, and we have taken that very carefully. And also you have focused on the technological upgradation required in the context of Industrial Revolution 4.0. I think these messages, and when you go through each step of your speech, I think it is a lesson for not only the people who are in the industry, but also those who want to join the industry. It gives a roadmap of their career progression as well. So thank you so much for this very, very comprehensive speech which you have delivered, keynote address. Now, Katie Greenier has just joined, and she is the world president of the Textile Institute Manchester. Can we have her on the screen, Katie? She is known as the creative talent and the network director of the Penland brands in UK, which is very well known in the circles. People consider it a great privilege and honor to be, interacting with her with so much of creativity. In fact, her speech, her message, which has been already put on Fiber to Fashion, talks about some steps which she has advised to the creative generation of the people who are listening to it. And I hope you will go through that in the Twitter handle as well as in the Fiber to Fashion's platform. So Ms. Katie Greenier was originally, she started as a freelance designer working with various brands, and now she is, I think it is now about 4 years since she is the president of the Textile Institute Manchester. So for all the audience who are joining, we are going to listen to the theme address of Katie Greenier, the world president, the Textile Institute Manchester.
Thank you so much for your warm welcome, and it's lovely to be here today, or this evening, I believe, in India.
Yes.
I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself and my career and a bit about what I see be the future. I'm not going to be with you long, but I can give you a quick overview. Thank you so much. I started off with almost this incredible passion for fashion. When I was really, really young, my mum always used to say that I put the most curious combinations of colour and clothing together. And quite often, I suppose she didn't really approve of my combinations, but I was totally inspired by my dad, Frankie Fraser. He was a graphic designer and I always wanted to be him. And so I used to spend a lot of my time underneath his drawing board, just pretending that I was a graphic designer. And so in many ways, I always knew what I wanted to do. So I was quite lucky. One day I was playing with my dad's drawing board and I got a knife, a scalpel, and I dropped it into my leg. And my dad said, "What are you doing? You have to learn how to use the tools properly if you want to go and do this as your career." And so from that moment on, it was really important to me that the tools of textiles, the tools of graphics, I learned to the best of my ability. My mum never wanted me to be a designer because she said it wasn't a 9-to-5 job my dad was always late home for his tea. And so she wanted me to do something much, she wanted me to be a PA, but there was no way that was going to happen. So I went to art school. I went to Colchester School of Art and did a general art and design diploma. Then I went to Liverpool School of Art and I did fine art printed textiles. I absolutely love massive scale and colour. So I always love coming to India because the saris, the colour, the smells are incredible and so, so inspiring. So when I left Liverpool, I set up my own business called Squinty Totty. And I sold one of my first paintings to Prince Charles. So on my first painting, I was so pleased that I was able to get a really good first commission. I then went to work on different projects across different brands, but Christian Lacroix in Paris, Jean Paul Gaultier, Vivienne Westwood. And then I absolutely love this brand and it was called Red or Dead. And I started stalking this man called Wayne Hemingway. And I just wanted to design prints and graphics for Red or Dead. So I sort of approached him and said, this is my work. And he said, well, everyone wants to work for us. And I said, but I really, really want to work for you. And he said, well, find someone mad in England. And so off I went, took some photographs of this, found this crazy man who had these placards that said less passion for less protein, and went back to see Wayne and he said, you better come in. In 1996, Pentland bought Red or Dead. And for those of you who don't know Pentland, we are a 4th generation family business that is that works across many different brands. And I think many of you will know our brands. They are, so we have 2 portfolios, our brand sports portfolio, which is Speedo, Canterbury Rugby, Speedo as in swimming Speedo, Canterbury Rugby, Mitre, Berghaus is an outdoor brand, cycling, which is Endura. And then we also own, we are a joint venture with Lacoste Footwear, Elas, which is an Italian sports fashion brand, Red or Dead, which is historically where I've come from, Kickers, which is a youth footwear brand, CV's, a Californian casual footwear brand, and then Kangaroos, which is a sports and fashion footwear brand. So we are in quite a few locations globally around the world. We have brilliant principles, which is success is a team game with clarity and courage, better and standard, and good conscience. So soon, in 10 years' time, it will be Pentland's 100th birthday. And so we have some great principles about our purpose is about pioneering brands that make life better. Our ambition is the world-leading accelerator brands that make you move. So we have a relentless focus on performance. We are truly consumer-centric organization. And I suppose just to let you know a little bit about what consumer-centric means, because it's said so much with, especially within marketing terms. It's about putting the consumer first, understanding the consumer better than anyone else, designing product and services to meet the consumer's needs, and creating seamless, sticky content that absolutely talks about our brands and our consumers' experience. So to grow our brands, we need relentless focus on performance and improvement. So going forward, we have a global service model, positive business, driving demand, and winning at the point of purchase. So the next 10 years are going to be a truly incredible 10 years because we need to celebrate the 100th birthday of Pentland. And in order to do that, we need to make sure that we deliver all of our promises and almost just make sure that we are just I suppose the consumer centric is so important to our business. And that's really a bit about Pentland. Is there any questions or anything that anyone would like to add? Do you know us?
Not at the moment, Katie. You can continue.
Well, you'll have to, I'm sure you know some of our brands. You must know Speedo.
Yes, several of them are known to all of us. Yes.
Good. Well, that's really just a bit about Pentland, about what I do. And I suppose for me and the Textile Institute, I've absolutely loved being the world president for since 2018. I've just have completely thoroughly enjoyed my time, and I've absolutely seen so much change. And I think the real bonus at the moment is the website being live and being able to actually have better conversations with global members of the Textile Institute and see what you're all up to. Attend more of these like celebrations of different sections and countries. And I really have enjoyed being the world president of the Textile Institute. My hopes for the future are more about more collaboration, more sense of purpose to make sure that we're driving forward on the goals that we've set up in our charter, to ensure that we work collaboratively together, to make sure that we form an incredible, sustainable institute going forward for the next 10 years, precisely like our, I suppose, how we want to drive Pentland forward is also how I'd love to see the Textile Institute. Also, just the incredible need to make sure that we have more young faces within the Institute. We work really hard with a lot of institutions globally around the world, but I'd love to see more of those guys become members. Anything else you'd like me to add or say, or any questions?
You are very interactive. I think, we are very grateful that India has a huge youth population, almost 450 million youth out of our 1.3 billion population. So if 450 million is the number of youth in our country, young people, from the age group of 15 to broadly 50, if you take it, it's about 450 million. So obviously, if we learn something from you in terms of making brands, and we can actually become a global source for brands for the youth. Our youth can influence the global youth. And that is where I think the lessons which you just told of using design, there are 17 NIFs, there are 5 NIDs now, and large number of design institutions in the country. And we need to use our creative talent. And the message which I get from your presentation is valid for many people who are listening in this audience, that, how to build a brand. You are looking up to 100 years celebration, a centenary of your brands, making brands for the world. So it has been a very illuminating speech. So if you can give us a few more advice to the young people who are listening, how to build brands for India.
Oh, I'm not sure about how to build brands for India, but I can definitely talk about what I'd love to see from young people and what I'd love to see from the Textile Institute. Yes. Mostly, I suppose it's actually about keeping, especially in COVID, making sure that you're always inspired and that you're inspiring others. The more and more projects and the more and more things that you work on, the more you keep your brain active during these like really unprecedented times. Podcasts, webinars, being able to interact with people that you perhaps didn't have access to before COVID, because everything is available now on our via the internet. And I've listened to so much great content that has kept me inspired during lockdown. So it's really important that we make sure that our young people and old people are keeping their brains inspired. I also believe that engaging with brands, so maybe even if you can't work for them now, that you make sure that you write to them and that you say that you almost study what has made them successful and actually try and almost replicate that in many ways. Whether that's doing projects, whether that's writing to them, maybe that's a placement, maybe that's work experience, maybe that's just contacting them and asking a question when you're on a podcast or a webinar, because you do remember the people that contact you, especially at these times at the moment. I think in terms of us, we need to make sure that success is a team game. So it's not just about the singular person, it's about everyone, you know, and everyone makes an impact, whether that's on a company, whether that's on a university. The sum of the parts are better than one thing. So really important that it's a team game. And for us as well, we talk about clarity and courage in our messaging. So ensuring that actually everything we say is brave and bold and to the point and actually has a meaning for being. And better as standard, you know, performance driven means actually you have to be your best at all the time. And mediocre is no longer good enough. You have to absolutely perform to your best.
Absolutely.
And then in good conscience, I talk about actually doing the things for the right reasons. You know, whether that comes from sustainability, the way you treat your people, the way you treat your staff, the conversations that are open, transparent, and honest. So I think in good conscience for me really does raise the game in terms of how you treat people, because people will respect you for that and treat you the same.
Absolutely. So I think the message lies in combining creativity, technology, and skills, and creating more sustainable brands using India's huge heritage of textiles and people, technologists, karigars, people who are value adding through embroideries, through block printing, through gottapatti work, through various handwork on the garments, fulkari, and hundreds of such a wide range of crafts. India can really be a leader in creating. So we take this message from you, Katie, and thank you that you could join us today.
Thank you so much.
For this wonderful conversational message which you gave is very powerful.
Thank you so much. And can I just say, I absolutely love India. I absolutely love it. It's one of my favorite places to visit. So as soon as I can, at any point in time, I am getting my body over to India and actually would love to see some of the textiles that you do there. I have been many times before and it's always left me totally inspired, and I love color, and color I believe is one of your most specialist things. The people, the way they wear color, the way they transport color, and the color of the nation is incredible. So
I can relate to what you said, because I spent 13 years in the National Institute of Fashion Technology as a founding head of fashion management, and later as the director of National Institute of Design. So whatever you say is music to my ears, and to, I am sure, to the audience as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. We now move to a thought leader, and I would call an innovator, a stalwart, of course, in the textile industry, Sri Shishir Jaipuria. He is the chairman and managing director of Guinea Filaments Limited, and also the chairman of SET Anandram Jaipuria Education Society, which has a number of educational institutions. So he has the right combination of what NISTI is all about, which is academia and research and innovation and industry on the other hand. Sri Jaipuria is also on the board of PhD Chamber of Commerce and several other industry fora. I have met him in FICCI and other places, so where his voice is heard with respect. And he has held various leadership positions. And we are actually privileged and greatly fortunate that two chairmen, one the past chairman of the Confederation of Indian Industry, Indian Textile Industry, which is the Shishir Jaipuria ji, and the current incumbent chairman of the Confederation of Indian Textile Industry, are both available to the audience, while they are giving their, wide industry knowledge and insights, which we will take many books to read and many papers to read. So I welcome Sri Shishir Kepraji for his keynote address. Sorry that we delayed you a bit because of a little bit of juggling of the program. You have been very patient and kind to us. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ms. Katie Greenhill, World President, Textile Institute of Manchester. The love that she has for India was very heartening to know. Ms. Stephanie Dick, Director General and CEO, Textile Institute. Dr. Koshi, Chairman NISTI. Dr. Kothari, Mr. Vinod Shambhag, Dr. Yadav, my dear friend Rajkumar, and many other distinguished guests who are attending here today. Among the people I could see Mr. Suresh Kotak, Mr. Khandelia, Mr. Manoj Patodia, Mr. Shekhar Agarwal, Dr. J.V. Rao, Mr. Vijay Bhalla, Inder Mohan Agarwal, and many friends who I have not been able to meet over a long period of time because of the COVID. It is both a pleasure as well as a privilege for me to be with all of you on the 33rd Founders Day celebration of NISTI. It provides me an opportunity to share my views on innovation and upskilling for the growth of the textile industry. When Dr. Koshi approached me to speak on this occasion, I readily agreed. Firstly, because of my long association with him, and secondly, because the subject is very dear to my heart. NISTI has always led from the front and has been instrumental in promoting professionalism and fostering knowledge in textiles. I congratulate Dr. Koshi and all the executive committee members of NISTI and hope that they will foster a deeper engagement with the industry. And Mr. Rajkumar, the president of CITI, is already here. And I will see that this alliance grows so that the textile industry takes advantage of the situation. Friends, before I get into the subject, I would like to give you a brief about our family history and its presence in the textile industry. Our family has been in the textile field for over 100 years. My great-grandfather, Anandramji Jaipuria, started the textile trade in the year 1911, and subsequently my grandfather, Padma Bhushan Mangturam Jaipuria, acquired in 1946 the Swadeshi cotton mills, which was run by a British stalwart, Sri Henry Horseman. At that length of time, Swadeshi cotton mill was the largest textile mill in Asia, and it had 3 lakh spindles and a processing capacity of 3 lakh meters. Subsequently, many units were added in the Swadeshi cotton mills at Udaipur, Pondicherry, Raebareli, Maunath Bhanjan, and Raebareli, besides a polyester fiber plant at Ghaziabad. Swadeshi cotton mills unfortunately got nationalized because of adverse circumstances and political reasons in 1978. My father, Dr. Rajaram Jaipuria, took the things in his stride and bounced back and set up Guinea Filaments Limited in 1990, a 100% export-oriented unit in Mathura. It was for the first time that he preferred to go for the latest technology and machinery from Rita, while a lot of machinery was available in India from Lakshmi Machine Works. He went on to establish Guinea International, and we expanded in knitting, processing, garmenting, denim manufacturing, and later on put up a plant for technical textiles and value-added products. His bent for technology and innovation was always there. We have seen, and Rajkumar has extensively covered, how the textile India was extremely famous in the early 40s, 50s, and 60s, but because of adverse government policies, it went for disintegration. But now, with the forward looking government and the mindset of the people in the last 30 years, large number of textile units which are fully integrated are coming into existence. The government is also promoting textiles in a big way, and my friend Mr. Rajkumar has already dealt with it in large detail with regard to the schemes of TUAF, mega textile parks, production link incentives, and the government is actively promoting the textile industry. But it is for us as entrepreneurs to ensure and we take the plunge for innovation and upskilling in the textile industry to really excel. To begin with, I would like to talk about certain mega trends which are impacting different businesses, business models, and how we strategize our future growth plans. Textile industry will also be largely influenced by these trends. COVID-19 has accelerated these trends exponentially. The first major trend, which is redefining businesses, is the advancement of technology at a rapid pace, which is disrupting business models globally. Artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, cloud computing, robotics, machine learning, 3D printing, smart manufacturing, etc., will bring rapid changes in the way we work. The new normal will be very different post COVID, and we have to adapt to the same. We have seen how Apple, which launched its first iPhone in 2007, has become an iconic middle class product because of continuous innovation and changes in features and design. Today, it is a calendar, a camera, web browser, flashlight, video, music system, ebook, reader, a watch, all in one. It has impacted large number of industries and will continue to witness competition not only within the industry but also from outside. Our way of working has to change dramatically from physical to digital, and we shall see more of remote working, monitoring and data collection on real-time basis, which will be analyzed to give deep insights. Artificial intelligence shall be increasingly used for enhancing customers' experience. It will also reshape brands' approach to product design and development with a focus on predicting what customers will want. Because of the advancements of nanotechnology, new age garments having soft electronic circuit integrated within them will be there. They can track your vital signs and give information to Internet of Things. We shall see changes across the full value chain from farm to fashion. Higher productivity of natural fibers, new eco-friendly fibers, growth of fibers like rayon, polyester, nylon, aramids, carbon with enhanced performance properties will bring a lot of value addition to the sector. Innovations in products, processes, systems, and procedures will transform the sector. Robotics and automation will increase productivity and optimize machine utilization. Developed countries will focus on value added technical textile products, both in durable and disposable segments. Home textiles with different functional features, automotive textiles, sportswears, medical, wellness, and hygiene products will be in demand. These newer products and technologies will require constant research, collaboration, and deeper engagement with the user industry. And I feel NISTI and Textile Institute can bring this and forge this alliance with the entrepreneurs in India. The second mega trend will be seen in the growing demand for sustainable products. Industry shall need to be more sensitive towards the environmental, social, and governance goals. ESG shall increasingly become a priority and shall be driven not only by the government but large retailers and consumers. Industry need to reduce their carbon footprints by using eco-friendly dyes and chemicals, encouraging the use of natural fibers or biodegradable fibers, use a cleaner energy, and reduce dependence on natural resources. It will also have to reduce waste and recycle products in an efficient manner. McKinsey, a global consultancy report, says that the circular economy can generate 700 billion US dollars globally, and hence there is a huge opportunity for Indian textile industry to work aggressively in this area. According to Bill Gates Foundation, 51 billion tons of greenhouse gases are added globally to the atmosphere every year. This is a huge challenge. There is a growing opinion that since we have been exploiting nature, therefore now nature is giving back the same to us in a cruel form. Levi's Jeans claims to reduce consumption of water by 96% in certain products and is creating new finishes that require less water than traditional processes. They have also started recycling PET bottles to make jeans. This is the level of commitments which brands are showing to reduce the carbon footprints despite initial higher costs. We at Guinea Filaments are making sustainable BCI, organic, GRS certified yarns and fabrics as well as garments. We are also having zero liquid discharge in our plants, which help in the treatment of processed water for its reuse. As a responsible manufacturer, we only use selective dyes and chemicals for fabric processing, which consume less water. We are continuously working towards waste reduction, process optimization, and are further targeting to reduce our water consumption. The third mega trend, which we will be seeing, is the emergence of platform companies and aggregators. The growth of platform companies like Amazon, Walmart, Alibaba, etc., which can aggregate and supply, shall provide huge opportunities to large number of small and medium enterprises to participate in the global value chain. It shall be a boon for the MSMEs as they can focus more on products, processes, and quality of enhancement, while global supply chain will be taken care of by the aggregators. So every company which aims to grow must have an online presence to ensure that they enhance customers' experience by constantly innovating in new products. The importance of reviews posted online and endorsements by influencers having fan following in social media shall become an important tool to enhance sales and brand presence. We have seen the death of iconic retailers who have not changed their marketing strategies with times, namely Macy's, Sears, Brook Brothers, Debenhams, to name a few. The fourth trend that we are going to witness is the influence of the millenniums in purchasing. They are well informed, impatient, and believe in hyper personalization. They want anything, anywhere, anytime. The slow and steady is not for them. They believe in making the most of every moment and they want to have just in time products. They also want more choices. They compare prices and specifications on digital platforms before making purchasing decisions. Future customers shall increasingly look for full package suppliers who will give them variety, quality in the shortest time period at competitive prices on sustainable basis. Everyone shall agree that going forward, competition and expectations of customers is going to intensify. And this is true with all industries. We have seen that the internet prices in India has declined from rupees 32 to practically nil with the introduction of Geo. Solar power, which was 17 rupees a couple of years back, is today available for less than 2 rupees per unit. Similar trends we have seen in manufacturing, whether it is ECG machines, 3D printing, genome sequencing, and many other trends are visible across industries. Consumer demand for faster delivery shall force manufacturing to come closer to customers. Adidas plant has shifted from China to Germany. This trend will also continue. Now let me share my thoughts regarding the importance of upskilling and reskilling for the growth of the industry. Organizations need to be fully conversant with technology. Based on these technologies, organizations shall need focus on talent development as well as talent retention. The role of HR will become very significant in the present times. While acquiring talent, HR needs to see that the people with the right mindset, right attitude, and willingness to learn and adapt to changing times are hired. Because of advancements in technology and robotics, which will replace repetitive jobs, the need of upskilling and reskilling for both blue and white collar jobs has gained immense importance. Unidimensional approach towards skilling shall not help. Reskilling, upskilling, and new skilling has to be hand in hand. Skilling ecosystem in India is definitely changing, but there is a lot of challenge relating to upgradation of the training systems. We need to bring factory type simulation training programs to academics. A syllabus reconfiguration can be thought of at a regular intervals to keep it relevant. This can happen only when linkage and interaction between academia, research, and industry is enhanced. There's a huge change in what leadership means today in the present pandemic time. Leadership will not be confined to the person at the top. We need to develop leadership at every level who can guide and mentor change both in hard skill and soft skill of the people. Industry also need to understand that in future everything has to be data driven and measurable. Data will be the new oil. It needs to be captured and made use of effectively. For this, we must have a robust ERP system, data related to trends, consumer behaviors, purchasing patterns, etc., will be important. All touch points need to be continuously captured to get valuable inputs. The role of marketing, unfortunately, has been very weak in our country. Textile industry has to attract the best people in digital marketing who can monitor footprints of customers and enhance the experience. Another important aspect is how do we ensure that we engage with the whole ecosystem. We all need to remember that we are not working in isolation and not working only for the shareholders, but we are working for all the stakeholders, which include the workers, the consumers, the suppliers, financiers, etc. Everyone needs to be looked after. They should trust the organization. Culture will play an important role in the success of any organization. If the culture is missing, we will not be able to retain good people as well as customers. I would say that the CEO should be seen as a culture executive officer rather than a chief executive officer. When we will do innovations, there will be failures too. Leaders need to be compassionate and tolerant. We need to create a culture of openness to foster new ideas and to promote alternative perspectives for innovations to happen. It's important for industry to encourage employees at all levels to think out of the box and have an open door policy by way of interdepartmental meetings, cross-functional teams, and innovation cells. I also strongly believe that without agility and right timing, industry can't march ahead. This means constructive destruction and course correction according to the feedback is imperative. Apple launches a new iPhone once every year. Xiaomi, a Chinese company, builds new phones every month. So this is what is important, that speed, agility, and nimbleness in our approach to cater to the market will be utmost relevant and add value to our products. If we continue to make commodities, they will only depreciate in value. Zara, a Spanish textile company which started in 1985, has become the biggest retailer globally. Their success mantra is agility. They are able to produce new products in a week's time, which normally takes 6 months. That is the speed, scale, vision, and dexterity with which people are moving. And this is all across the industry. The IT industry does not respect tradition, it respects speed, agility, and textile industry will have to learn from the new age industries like the IT industry. During the ongoing pandemic, we saw how Indian textile industry started manufacturing PPE kits at scale and transformed a challenge into an opportunity. Another aspect which I want to emphasize is design thinking. Nobody knows this better than Dr. Koshi. Design thinking is not an exclusive property of designers. It provides a solution based approach to solving problems, which comes by breaking the problem into different sets, components, and groups. We have to question the problem, question the assumptions, question the implications, and redefine problems so that we find alternative ways of working. In the end, I would like to mention that the new reality taking shape is made of complexity, uncertainty, but definitely it will create tremendous amount of opportunities. I have every reason to feel buoyant and upbeat and optimistic about the textile industry. But for that to happen, organizations must become resilient. The developed countries are looking for realignment of global supply chain and reduce their dependence on China. This creates immense opportunity for India, which can provide a strong base to multinational companies to shift their manufacturing base to cater to both global demand and the domestic market. We need to be proactive instead of reactive in our approach. Let us continuously reinvent, follow the mantra. The acronym which I use is DEAD, that is data, ecosystem, agility, and design thinking. This will lead to growth as well as excellence. All this further need to be supplemented by 4 T's, that is technology, talent, timing, and tolerance for growth of textiles for tomorrow. With this, I conclude and hope that under the able guidance and leadership of Dr. Koshi, NISTI will forge new partnerships and bring new global best practices to promote the textile industry in India. Thank you and Jai Hind.
What an astounding and inspirational speech, Shishirji.
Thank you.
I think if we take just Sri Rajkumar's speech and your speech and analyze in our first meeting of the new EC, which is scheduled at 4:30 p.m. on 30th next week, we would probably get a complete agenda for the industry and for the academia, research and innovation in one go. Rajkumarji, while looked at the high growth trajectory, which can be to the asking for the industry if all the elements are put together, Shishirji's speech went into how innovation and bringing in technology, design thinking, also the futuristic outlook, which everybody at leadership levels, at every levels, which he emphasized are really the summary and the distilled knowledge, which we would have taken months to garner if we hadn't had this roundtable. I am so grateful that these speeches happened, and both the speeches I will request Dr. Vijay to collect it so that we can use it in the both in the TI Manchester website as an archive of this event, Stephanie, because these are very important speeches for the global textile industry and for the Indian textile industry as we go forward. And Vijay to put it also for the use of our members, for them to reflect, because this is not just words. This is how the words become action, is when you get the results and outcomes and impact. So both the doyens of the industry, we are grateful for these words of wisdom. No words of really gratitude is enough. And the DAD, data, ecosystem, agility, design thinking, and the technology, talent, time, and tolerance. I think beautifully expressed. Part of it I have used myself in my Indian Design Edge book, as well as in the recent book of Runway to Skilled India. So I feel that there is a resonance, in my mind when I hear these words which are uttered by, which are brought out today by Shishilpi. What a great evening. So I would like now our Professor V.K. Kothari, who is the discussant, to respond to both these ideas and speeches. I think it is more of ideas. As I said, the NISTI is all about connecting people, bringing ideas, and helping people to realize these dreams. So such an eminent professor we have amidst our midst. You can take a view on how we can proceed, and we will go by your wisdom as we go along in building the plans and mission rather for the NISTI. Professor V.K. Kothari.
Good evening. We really had very inspiring and informative speeches, starting with Stephanie Dick, who talked about the role of the Textile Institute in the textile arena and its development and various activities they really support worldwide. We also really heard about the design aspects and the consumer focused approach and other sort of design focused approach from the world president of the Textile Institute, Katie Greeners. And we also had very informative and inspiring keynote addresses from Sri Rajkumarji and Sri Sesed Jaipuriaji. Before I really start giving some more thoughts on it, let me start by saying that today is the Foundation Day of NISTI. I'd like to greet all the NISTI members listening to this particular webinar, and also say that everybody should stay safe and healthy. Well, I'll start with my journey with the textile, which was almost 50 years back. In 1971, I joined the textile industry for a very brief period. And then I have continued having some association or other with the textile industry. I've seen the textile industry grow from the very basic stage to now what Jaipuria ji and obviously Rajkumar ji is talking about, the technology driven industry with a lot of automation, a lot of IT being sort of involved in it. So, but we must also understand that textile industry is a really complex industry in India and has many components. It really starts with the basic khadi industry and the handloom industry, the artisan involved in it. Then there are people who are involved in various other levels of the textile industry, to the high technology areas which we are really talking about in terms of the industrial growth which is happening and the industry which is really becoming very, very important now in order to really capture the growing demand of the textiles. We really heard a lot about the technical textiles being becoming very, very important in uh, time to come and is really taking good shape in the country. So we should really understand that the industry range is quite wide and we have to really cater to the different manufacturers, different level of manufacturers. And I think Cecil Japuraji also suggested one way of doing it is that let SMEs concentrate on the product and let aggregators really focus on the marketing and the innovation aspects of the thing. But let me start with really most of my journey has been in the R&D and the education. So I would really look at what R&D and the innovation in the research and development which has happened, and what are the lacunas. Obviously, we have really talked a lot about the type of growth we are experiencing in the various sectors of the textile industry, and even post first phase of the COVID, we really had a very good development in the textile sector where the demand was quite high and the industry was really doing well. It really also repositioned itself even during the pandemic time in the areas which was were in demand. So we would continue to have that particular sort of flexibility in the industry to refocus on the areas where there is a huge demand and they would really be we would really be needing the technology support in that. We'll need the R&D support in that. We would really need various other types of support from the research organizations, the educational institutes, and others in repositioning ourselves in various areas of the development which is really occurring. Uh, Unfortunately, my assessment is that the ecosystem which we have for research and development and innovation is still a long way to go, because we are still really not able to integrate our research effort. We are not having good linkages between the educational institute, R&D organizations, and also the industry. So the coordination between the three pillars, which could really lead to the long-term innovations and research and development in different product areas, is a key, and probably one should really focus on establishing the type of ecosystem which is necessary so that we can really complement each other rather than trying to work in our own sort of domain. At the moment, unfortunately, we work in our own domain. Educational institutes work in their domain. The research organizations are working in their domain. And the industry is working in the product development and also the uh, process development area, and also looking at the problem solving type of R&D to really working on. But we really need to have a long-term perspective of how we can really go ahead and uh, develop a culture of innovation, research, and development in various stakeholders in this particular process. So this is one thought which I thought would be interesting to look at, that what is really missing in India. Obviously, as Rajkumarji has said, that industry is growing. It is one of the major industry in India and really has very large uh, capacity. Technologies have been built up. The automation is also taking place. The new technologies are being brought in and are being absorbed. We have really also moved quite ahead in the technical textiles, and we have a lot of schemes which ministry is really uh, giving, really promoting, in order to really bring in the technical textile industry uh, to the forefront. Mission project has been launched. There are various other schemes of the government which are promoting the investment in the textile industry. Mega textile parks have been announced, and various other PLI schemes and other schemes which Rajkumarji talked of have really been useful, and I think it gives us a lot of encouragement that we would really do well in years to come. We were really slow in the initial years of my joining the textile fraternity way back in 1971, and it's almost 50 years now that I have been associated with this industry, and I've seen many ups and downs, and there are many things which people have been talking of. We started the first project in the technical textile area way back in 1978 at IIT Delhi. So there's been a long journey in the area of technical textiles as well as in other areas of textiles as well. But we really need to, as I said, that we really need to have a ecosystem in which the research and development and the innovations could really prosper and could really give benefit to the textile industry in the long run. Uh, Textile value chain is extremely important, and there are issues uh, with this value chain also. And also, we are present in the entire value chain of the textile industry, but there are bottlenecks, there are issues which needs to be looked at, and probably industry leaders, the government, and others uh, who are involved in the policy planning would really be looking at this, because till these issues regarding the value chains are solved, we would not really be able to take full advantage of the growing market uh, which is being offered to us. Uh, we really have a big textile industry. We have a largest workforce working in this industry after agriculture, and we have to really look at the all the stakeholders, as uh, has been said, in this particular uh, industry. So we would really need a lot of support from uh, industry leaders like Rajkumar ji and Jaipuria ji in terms of really coming up with a plan which could really take the Indian textile industry forward and really place us in the global map in a very solid way. Obviously, a lot of things have been talked about in terms of the importance of the design in the textile sector, and the way the industry could really take advantage of both the design and also the sort of focusing on the consumer requirements and the consumer uh, sort of consumer demands and other areas. Uh, Also, we really need to continuously focus on the issues which Shishir Jaipuriaji had really said, that is, we should really talk about the sustainability. One of the things which has really happened is that obviously with the consumer textiles growing at a very rapid rate, the nonwovens really are coming in a big way in the textile arena. We really need to look at the issues of the safe disposal of these materials. We need to really look at the sustainability. We really need to look at the aspects which are really important in order to save the environment and also focus on the development of the products which are going to be important. Couple of areas which are extremely important from my perspective are obviously medical textiles, and the healthcare products would continue to be uh, critical and important in years to come. Similarly, the products which are of nature, like the filter products, industrial products, the protective garments, the protective uh, materials, the new materials which are being talked of, would really be extremely important. Smart textiles will obviously come in a big way in years to come. So we really need to look at the technology where the way it's developing. And as Jaipuriaji said, that uh, the technology is developing at a very, very fast pace. And the slow and steady approach, which normally is preferred by industry, may not really work in this fast changing world. So we really need to be quite agile in terms of adopting what we really know of, and also sort of upscale, reskill our workforce, and absorb the new technology being developed, um, and also work on these
Yep.
newer products.
As we have overshot the time,
Uh,
we have overshot that bit to the time.
Yes, I think this is what I really had to say.
Yeah.
Um, so I would really sort of hope that NISTI, along with other stakeholders in this journey, would really be able to take care of some of the issues which are really going to be important for the growth of the textile industry. Thank you very much.
We all agree that on a Foundation Day celebration, to have a professor of the eminence of Professor V.K. Kothari, who has been there from May 24th, 1989 with this organization, as of May 24th, 2021, I think what more can we ask on a Founders Day? So thank you very much, Professor Kothari, for your valuable words. And I think you have, completely outlined and made a comprehensive treatise for us to look at, which are the areas of focus. It's like a summary which you have given, of their situation and how we need to look at the future. So thank you so much for being so kind, gracious, and available to us, on this day. And we very much value. And hopefully, many of the people are asking from the guest comments. One thing they're asking is Sri Rajkumarji's and Sri Shishir Jaipuria's speech to be made available to them. I think Vijay has already responded to them that yes, at least the highlights and the recording is also there. So hopefully, we'll be able to make it available to all. And we conclude this Founders Day, roundtable with the vote of thanks by Sri Dr. Vijay Yadav, who is the Director of Operations of the Sectoral Skill Council. And I think there is a very interesting combination here. Dr. Vijay Yadav was a student of Professor V.K. Kothari, and he is also an employee of the organization of Sri Rajkumarji. So I have completed, the kind of, relationships which exist in this industry is just fascinating to me. Somebody told, just now Jaipuriaji mentioned about IT industry. In IT industry, I don't think you can find this kind of relationships being stretched on several years as you find in textile industry. This is my 43rd year in service, but I think this industry is built on relationships. And the warp and weft of these relationships continue to hold this industry together in its present form. So when you are injecting these new ideas, Sri Rajkumarji, of aspiring for growth, which you emphasize, and Shishirji looking at the mega trends and responding to them as an industry, and Katie Greenier's fantastic ideas about design thinking and brands being built will certainly take us forward on a different trajectory. We only hope that both of you expressed a lot of hope about what NISTI can do. We are relatively a small organization. It has got its own limitations, but as Shishir Jayapuriya reminded us, design thinking will help us to look at the problems and constraints with a new eye, into a new lens, and create a new understanding of those problems so that you come out with a new sandbox of a new innovative thinking to break the glass ceiling and look at what we can do. So I'm sure that we will respond, and we are holding the first meeting of the newly constituted EC. As I said already, those newly inducted members are very much present in this audience. I can see Professor Nandita Abraham and many others who have joined this discussion. So we will work with institutions, we will work with research organizations, we will work with industry constituents, keep a dialogue going with, we have inducted also Dr. Sunanda from Sri Rajkumarji's organization into the special invitee list. We have Balkrishnan ji from, Jenny Filaments itself. And we have, Akshay Sadana from DuPont. And we have, Mr. Shantanu Agarwal ji, also from BMD. And therefore, I think we have got it covered in terms of what we are intending to do. And I only hope the pandemic wears out and without troubling our population. Our hearts again go out to all the people who are in this industry, also large number of workforce in powerloom, handloom, micro enterprises, small enterprises, migrant labor. They're all affected people. And we need to shed it, not just shed a tear, but extend sustenance and extend safety belt as an industry, joining together collectively as to what we can do to alleviate and ameliorate their suffering and their anxiety of health anxiety, life anxiety as we go forward. Now I hand over to Dr. Vijay Yadav to propose a vote of thanks as we close it 15 minutes late on this program.
Thank you, Dr. Kaushik, and a very good evening to everyone. It is an honor and privilege as an honorary secretary and treasurer to extend my vote of thanks today at this 33rd Foundation Day of NISTI. Fortunately, which has come at a time when India will witness 75 years of our independence. On behalf of NISTI and all its members, I offer my heartfelt gratitude to all the speakers for the graceful and enriching words. I thank all the participants who attended in large numbers, both from India as well as abroad, for making it a global success. I would like to thank Katie Greener, President TI, for the theme address and providing the global view of the hard stuck in textile industry, and also suggesting the roadmap for the youth, which is very, very important. My special thanks goes to the two stalwarts from the Indian textile industry, Shri T. Rajkumarji, who is also a guiding force as chairman of Confederation of Indian Textile Industry, as well as the Textile Sector Skill Council, Shri Shishir Jayapuriya ji, chairman and the managing director of Guinea Filaments. I strongly hope that the deep-rooted ideas for the growth of the textile industries, muted by them, along with the cultural values, shall provide new direction for the industry to work on. My hearty gratitude to both of you, sir. My deep gratitude goes to my own dear Professor V.K. Kothari, as I would like to say this way, for his highly fruitful views as a discussant. I also feel proud and privileged to have been associated with all the three Indian speakers at various stages of my career. I will fail in my duty if I do not mention Stephanie Dick for all the support in providing the strong footing for this event. Thank you, madam. And thank you for taking all good care of even the minute aspects of the event. I thank Robin Ingham for all the logistic support and all your team members, madam. and bearing with the last moment obligations for making it the successful event. Last but not the least, I express my deep gratitude to the incumbent chairman of NISTI, Dr. Darli Kaushik, for his painstaking efforts in conceptualizing the roundtable. And as I can see the immediate past chairman, I wish to thank him, Professor Vinod Shanbag, for guiding through the entire process of the AGM, which is culminated into this wonderful event in the form of Foundation Day. I thank Mrs. Richa Bansal and her team at the fibers2fashion.com for doing the excellent work as a media partner and ensuring a wide publicity of this event. I once again thank all the speakers for their valuable thoughts and the time. In the hard COVID pandemic, we are obliged to have presence of such a large number of audience. As I can see a lot of chats also have undergone. My heartfelt gratitude to all of them once again. May the Almighty keep every one of us blessed and rejuvenated. Stay safe and healthy. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
As I conclude and bid goodbye today evening, a lot of people have asked how to join the membership. I think both TI's website and NISTI's website are both informative, and all information of how to become a member, how to use this forum, how to bring your ideas into the forefront, all are available. And once again, I thank all the participants in different parts of India and across the world. Please spread the message. Please spread the message of the industry doyens who spoke today, and the kind of possibilities which exist. We have to just not look at what it is today. What we can do is how to make a new tomorrow, what it will be tomorrow. I have taken always an organization look at what it is today and then look at more about what it can be tomorrow. And that is with this hope that I conclude and sign off this roundtable. And once again, wish you the very best in the times ahead. Thank you. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, everybody.